1954. The postcard that Tony requested with his bouquet of flowers is strangely incorrectly dated. Tony turns around towards the florist to complain, but what faces him back throws him off. Tony doesn't remember entering a vintage flower shop. From the wallpaper to the decor to the customer's attire, everything suddenly appears to have come out straight from the 1950s. Tony looks at his postcard once again. 1954. Puzzled more than ever, Tony approaches the florist. "Your postcard is dated correctly, sir," the florist simply confirms. 1954? Yes, aren't we in 1954? The year of the horse. Tony walks out of the flower shop with his postcard in his hand. Pastel-colored automobiles, the city's cable car and tall buildings. Everything looks similar from what Tony remembers, except decorated a little bit more archaic. Then there are the people. Why are they all dressed like back in the 1950s? The women are all wearing flare dresses, whereas the men are all dressed in either leather jackets or full-on suits. Even though not looking at all shabby, Tony feels a little left out in his tucked-in light blue dress shirt and khaki pants. 1950s. A 1954 postcard. Red telephone booths on both sides of the street. Newspaper stands. Tony grabs one newspaper. Dwight D. Eisenhower. War in Vietnam. I Love Lucy. All front page on the newspaper dated August 16th, 1954. Tony walks back into the flower shop, postcard in one hand, newspaper in the other. He shows the newspaper to the florist and confronts her about today's date one more time. The florist returns the same blank stare she already previously gave to Tony. Tony is indeed in 1954. Tony is now convinced he has traveled back in time. He can travel through time because he is also able to return himself back to the present by visiting the flower shop again and again and again, all within the same day, just to confirm his newly discovered ability over and over. However, it seems he can only travel between 1954 and present time 2021. In 1954, Tony shares his newly discovered ability to the flower shop's florist, Lily. "Oh yeah?" Lily comments with skepticism. "Am I still really the florist in 2021? How do I look like in 2021? I must be looking all old and wrinkly." "You look just as beautiful and youthful." Tony takes Lily for a cup of coffee, then Lily shows Tony around the 1954 city. The two hit it off, sealing the night at Lily's place before Tony goes back home to 2021. The next day in present time, Tony goes back to the flower shop once again. Lily is not around. Lily? Lily McDaffodil, you say? A different florist for today asks, "How do you know my late grandmother?" "Your late grandmother?" Tony stammers. "Yes, it was her death anniversary yesterday." Tony scuffles to go back to yesterday, to 1954's yesterday to be exact. The lovely night he just shared with Lily is still so fresh in his mind. Just last night, Lily was looking healthy, safe, and well. How could she leave just like that? But Tony's time travel ability does not seem to work any further. "You sound just like her," a frail, raspy, and very soft voice utters from one of the flower aisles. A frail old man in a wheelchair appears out of the aisle. He appears to be at least in his 90s. She used to say through this flower shop she could travel through time. She would disappear for hours at a time and come back with knickknacks that appear to have come from other worlds. Coins, sweets, or postcards of the city that don't look like the city. She used to always carry this one postcard with her, signed by a man whose name has faded. I thought it might have been her lover, but I never caught the bastard. Maybe he lived in a different time, the old man narrates. "This is my grandfather Anthony," the granddaughter introduces. "Anthony? Mr. Anthony McDaffodil?" Tony addresses the old man, slowly approaching him. "Anthony Ketterfield," the granddaughter corrects. "He and my grandmother never married." Tony stumbles on his own feet. He lets himself fall down to his knees. With bewildering eyes, he stares at the old man. "Are you picking up flowers? What did you say was your name again?" the granddaughter exclaims over from the counter. "Tony, Anthony to be exact." "Last name?" "Ketterfield."